It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and piercer talk about some of the more common questions those that collect tattoos and piercings may ask. Brought to you in part by Ktichen Tattoo and the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. Hey, it's our 100th episode. Technically, it's the filming of our 100th episode. Most people don't know this, but we usually do 3 at a time. So we already did 2 today. This is our 3rd one today.
Yeah.
And those other 2 will come out before this does. But we figured we'd stream it because it's the 100th. Yeah. And we've been wanting to for a long time. And hopefully we get a few people in here that want to ask questions.
Fire away.
Anyway, so let's start off by talking about who's here. Of course, we've got Jimmy St. John, tattoo artist at the Ktichen. Jack Lowe, tattoo artist and owner of the Ktichen. Myself, I'm DaVo, body piercer and owner and operator of the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. And then we have Brent Starr from Ktichen tattoo artist. And then we got Jess over there in the dark that you never see.
Hi.
Still sporting the tinsel.
Yes. I got new tinsel.
She's a tinsel girl in a tinsel world.
I got new tinsel.
Is that what it is? A tinsel world? Is that the problem?
I guess.
Yes. So we had a couple of people went over to our what is it called? Community page and asked a few questions. So
Sweet.
Unless there's something already in the chat.
Just annoying fan.
Hey.
Said, really hoping y'all aren't teasing again.
Nope. I know I was running it a little bit earlier, but I thought it was private.
And then we started, and they said, oh, yay, I love you guys. Super excited to see this. It's an early beer day, so I'll try to keep comments PG.
What kind of beer?
Yeah.
What are we drinking?
What are we drinking? I like I like that craft beer. These guys like the domestic stuff. Brent likes the craft beer, too.
Yeah, I do.
I try to watch my figure.
Yeah, we drink the skinny beer in the skinny can.
Yeah.
It gets me to the same place, just cheaper.
Mostly water.
With less fat.
I got to pee a couple more times than you do, but it's cool.
Probably.
She said, living up to my name, I'm actually Heidi.
Perfect.
Awesome.
That brings up all kinds of visions of
Jiminy?
Frauleins.
Frauleins. He's German on this episode.
German.
Well, I was raised by German Irish that never claimed to be Irish.
We're
German.
Okay.
The surname's Brady, but we're German. Okay.
Brady.
Right. So I did have a couple questions here that were mainly piercing oriented.
Well,
nobody likes that.
Yeah, like Sabrina, she said, first, can we prevent piercing or prevent bumps on piercings? She said, and that Demel circular barbell at beginning. Okay. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like Dave or orbit piercings. Second, France, smiley face. Congratulations on the 100th video. They are all amazing. Greetings from Argentina.
Hey, what's
I'm guessing that the reason why it sounded weird is because it's some type of translator or what have you. I'm guessing that you're asking whether or not rings will reduce the likelihood of piercing or bumps. Usually not. It really depends on the piercing. There are some piercings that do better with circular jewelry or curved jewelry. Other piercings, they need that post. The ring actually can kind of, especially if the diameter is too small, add little pressure or hot spots that can actually increase the likelihood of bumps. So it really depends on the piercing, and it really depends on your anatomy. Like, for instance, a Daith piercing, usually do it with a ring. Rook piercing, we're going to usually do it with a curved barbell. So you only have a quarter of that turn in there. The other thing that with rings is they're going to get knocked around a lot more. You're going to have a lot more movement, and they need to be oversized. Yeah. Anyway.
Boom.
Yeah, that was that one.
Nailed it.
Nailed that
Woohoo.
one. So the other one was on here is from Chris, and he said, hi, I'm thinking about getting male nipple piercings. However, I do a fairly physical job and like to cycle 2 to 3 times, I'm guessing, a week, and a little bit of running. Would it be okay to do these activities while healing, and should I? Oh, wait, there's read more.
Pasties.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Should I cover it with a wound dressing type pad? Thanks for the help, Chris. The first couple weeks is going to be uncomfortable. Movement with nipple piercings does not feel good, both for men or women. You kind of realize you have two like new feelers on the front of your body that every time it comes in contact with something, it hurts. So you probably want to cut back. Wearing a tight shirt will help reduce some of the movement of the jewelry. If you're worried about contact, I usually suggest get the old school disposable eye patches. You can find it at most pharmacies and tape them over it.
Nice.
But yeah,
That won't
Pirate nipples.
No, that's probably something. How long is it okay to wear something like that over there? Will that hinder the healing? Or?
it shouldn't because they have little holes in them.
They breathe well.
Okay.
Yeah, they're breathable. They're like a little piece of plastic, and they come in left and right. It just it's like kind of an eggshell about
Yeah,
size.
So you could put them on while you worked out or had a job during the day or something.
Like I'll usually suggest if somebody has like a nostril or a navel piercing and they're going to be having a lot of contact with the area, it kind of staves off issues.
Cool.
It's always best to just keep crap away from it.
Yeah, but sometimes it just can't happen. You
I
know?
wonder
Yeah.
if anyone's ever tried the product that we use on our tattoos on a piercing.
I have yet
Oh.
to, and I've tried to do some research and there just isn't any out there.
Right. I haven't heard of it,
Yeah,
but I
I don't
wonder.
You probably have to be careful taking it off so it doesn't attach to the jewelry.
The only,
I
the
don't
biggest thing was if it would leave. I don't think it does leave a residue, so it shouldn't
No.
affect it.
No. And it breathes.
And I know that people have used it when they insisted on swimming with a fresh piercing.
And it would keep the person away from
Fucking with
moving
it
and
and it
touching
knocking
and,
around
you know,
and-
which is usually the big.
The only thing I could think that would be a detriment is if, for some reason, the air pockets that would be created between the bandage and the skin because of that jewelry would that give something someplace to grow or
If
to,
you left it on long enough.
yeah, I wonder.
Especially if a little bit of moisture got underneath there. Just
Right.
like we talked about with you guys, if it isn't on there solid or the person sweats a lot, you
Yeah.
get that kind of soup effect underneath there.
Then get it out of there.
tough.
Yeah, so it wouldn't probably be good for long term, but it could be good for short term if you could justify the pain in taking it off.
Yeah, because it's not going to feel good taking it off, and it might agitate it more taking it off.
Yeah.
I used to love that when I'm pierced. They come in and be like, something's wrong with this. And I'm like, well, quit touching it. I'm not touching it. I'm like, you haven't stopped touching it since you walked in the door, dude.
Yeah.
My favorite is it seemed healed because I could sleep on it. And then suddenly there's a problem. It's like, no, it wasn't healed, and you were doing fine, and then you started sleeping on it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's healed.
All right. Heidi said, Lord, don't know how men do it without bras to help hold it all in place.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Plus the cold. Well, we got two guys here that have their nipple pierced.
I have one left. I lost one.
I've got both.
Well, where was the last place you saw
Yeah,
it?
where's the last place you had it?
I've told this story on here, haven't I?
I don't know.
Did you? Oh, were you stranded at that port and you had to
No,
trade it for?
no.
Oh.
Well, that
That
used to be
old
the
story.
old thing, you know, the urban legend that sailors, the reason why they got one done on both sides was to pay for the funeral. I don't know
yeah.
if that's, I think that's been disproven.
I heard that the reason they wore gold, earrings is because then they always had some cash on them.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So
Oh.
they wouldn't get buried at sea. They'd get buried.
Oh, for mainly. Oh, but
Okay.
for
Yeah.
specifically, so if they died, they could be have a proper burial.
Yep, instead of being thrown out.
I thought
the
it was
ocean.
like $100 in your sock kind of thing, like
that too. I'm sure
emergency money.
I'm sure
kind
there
of.
was a plenty of time in a
That's
port.
true.
I really want to hook
I
him.
mean,
I got no money.
You got enough to be. If you got enough to be buried, but you're hungry, you're probably just gonna, get a
Yeah.
new one and eat a steak.
Yep.
Yeah. You steal another one later, you're a pirate.
That's
Yep.
true.
No, basically I'd stretched them out to 6 gauge. Had them for a very, very long time, and my left started migrating a little bit, but I just went, it'll be okay, and just kept putting off doing anything about it. I should have downsized the jewelry. And then I was doing the laundry one day, and I was carrying a laundry basket, had my shirt off, and somehow caught the jewelry on the laundry basket.
Here it comes.
Yep.
And I didn't feel anything. I heard it hit the ground. And at first I thought, I was kind of mad. I'm like, the damn ball fell off again. And then I looked down and it was a whole ring.
Oops.
And then I looked over and it's just like, bloop. So then I went out and bought some butterfly stitches and taped that thing up as tight as I could because it was, split in half. And it grew back together. I still haven't.
I knew he wasn't human. I told you he
Yeah,
wasn't
I
human.
know.
I said
I knew it.
reptilian from the
Yep.
frickin' start. And you're like,
Let me
oh,
go.
no, there's no fucking way.
Well, I mean,
Dude.
I didn't see any scales, but,
So,
jeez.
yeah.
Does the cold bother either one of y'all's? I've never
it
noticed
never
It used
has.
to. Not anymore.
It did?
Back when I first got them, everything bothered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
For me,
how.
it's more the ears. If it's a really cold, like if I'm on the bike and it's like 20 degrees out, and I've been riding at 30 miles an hour,
Jewelry
then
gets cold there.
the titanium tunnels start getting
I used to know a dude that had his, like, you could put soda cans in it. He stretched them so much.
Yeah.
And when in the wintertime, when he rode his moped, he would tuck his earlobes over his ears and then put a stocking cap on because they would get frostbite really
Oh,
easy.
yeah.
You have to clip them off. But I was like,
because
geez.
you have limited blood flow. It's just like your fingertips and et cetera. The reason
Exactly.
why you get frostbite there is because the
Very little.
circulation.
Very little of blood flow.
Yeah.
She said.
So how did what's his name get frostbite on his thing?
I still don't know. That's something we caught on the YouTube there with
How
old
could-
Prince
how could-
Harry.
How
Prince
could that
Harry wasn't
Prince
so
Harry?
Prince
hairy,
Harry
was he?
wrote in his book or his thing that his most uncomfortable part of his Antarctic trip was he got frostbite on his nether period.
Peeing.
What the
His,
fuck was
you know,
he
I
I
guess he was
don't know.
peeing or
That would
something.
be.
I don't
I mean,
know.
when you think about it, when you're out there,
It's the
this is
most
off
insulated
subject
thing
as
on you.
usual. See, this we all gather.
How
this
long do you have
information.
to pee to get
Yeah, to
frostbite?
get frostbite.
Yeah,
Pretty
your,
long.
like,
Yeah.
your torso and your trunk are kind of protected
Yeah.
fairly
Dude,
well
that's-
It was hanging out
by
a while.
design.
There's a reason that stuff is right there.
Like, I mean, just go, shake it, put it back up. You ain't got to, like, let it hang out and air dry. You know what I'm saying?
Although
like,
if he's small and has little circulation,
Yeah.
it's all about the circulation. That's going to keep it warm, just like your fingertips, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
maybe
inside
he's
of the
got a
body
little
and-
pinky finger.
I don't know. I
You
don't want
know?
to speculate on the royalties.
I'm not saying he
junk,
does.
But
Why would he put that in a book?
I don't know.
Like what?
Well,
Too
it got
much.
People,
Yeah.
I didn't even know he
What?
wrote a book, so it did its job.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Anyway, what were we saying again?
I don't
We
know.
were talking about
We'll go to the
frostbite
next
and all
one.
that stuff.
Okay.
Oh, your ear's falling off.
Yeah.
She said, as I mentioned in another video, my left nipple piercing must have hit some nerve because the cold seriously makes it hurt.
Yeah, I have had clients to do that.
Can do
I've
that.
also had clients that it'll act up whenever their cycle starts or they start getting sick.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, because that's going to affect your glands
Yeah,
and
your lymph nodes.
all that.
All that good stuff.
So, and it's right there. Interesting.
Bada boom,
Avoid the
bada
noid.
bing.
Avoid
Yeah.
No,
avoid the.
Yeah, he's
Noid.
evil.
We have
thing.
another comment from CTS Diva. I have
Hello.
about 10 tattoos. I'm a big baby when it comes to getting a tattoo. Me too, girl. Me too. But I love them. I have never tried the numb cream that I see a lot of people using now. Does it really numb the area?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yes,
If
it
it's
Yeah,
does.
applied
it works.
If you use
correctly.
it correctly.
Yeah, there's a kind of a trick to it, and there's 100 of them out there, and I haven't tried all 100, but I've tried some that work and some that,
Yeah.
And so, it might take a little experimentation. You might want to look at levels of what they use to numb in their product to maybe gauge how well it works or where kind of to start. And maybe look at reviews. Those can kind of be shaky. But what I found, though, is if you get a washcloth and you warm it up real good under the sink, not enough, obviously, to scald you or burn you, but get it nice and warm and then hold it over the area that you're going to get tattooed until it isn't warm anymore. Do that a few times, and that kind of lets the skin open up and
Opens up the pores.
yeah. And then apply whatever product you're using liberally, almost like icing a cake.
Yep.
Really
Over and
thick. It's not like you're putting on, excuse me, like hand lotion or something. No. You want to put it on and almost not be able to see your skin under that. Really pack it on and then wrap it with plastic.
Yep. Saran wrap.
Yeah. Do this about an hour before you go in to your tattoo appointment. And the way we do it is we just have them wear it right in, and then we'll take it off and clean it up so you can get, all the numbing time out of it that you want or that it has to give. And then there's another product that we can use or that you can get and bring in, depending on your artist and if you want to talk to them first, but that you use as the tattoo is going on. Now, it works a lot better with color tattoos because the stuff you use post breaking the skin, it needs the skin open for it to get in there and really do its job. So depending on, how long your tattoo is going to be, how it's, if it's color, if it's a lot of saturation here or there. There's a lot of different things that can vary, I think, your results with it. Probably some areas of the skin are going to be less easy to numb just because of the type of skin. So, all that considered, yes, they can really be a lifesaver. The biggest downside I've seen, and it might not have anything to do necessarily with the product, but when you use it, as soon as it wears off or starts to, you're twice as big of a baby.
Yeah, it's
Like,
extreme.
It really, if it's not working, it intensifies it seems.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's because, we're waiting, or you've waited to use it till you're kind of already there, and that's just eking out a little bit more while it's working, and you go right back to where you were, or if it has some sort of...
It feels like to me when I was using it, like once the numb wore off, all that sensation really comes flooding back. So the nerve endings are getting that message, but they're not sending it out.
Almost like it piles up.
And then,
well,
and then when you do receive the message, it's like, hey,
it's
this
kind of
hurts.
it's kind of like we describe how like the first piercing will usually hurt, the second piercing will always hurt more.
Your endorphins are.
And part of that
Yeah.
is your body is reacting to it, and it's trying to think. It's saying, "Hey, stop this!" And I've been trying to tell you this for the last hour, but there's been this thing in my way to tell you. So I'm.
And then when you do it again, it's like, no, seriously.
this
not good.
So I'm guessing once that drops, the numbness drops, your body's just like that, and it's got to be kind of like when your foot falls asleep and you stand up and start walking.
Yeah,
around.
needles and pins.
No, maybe, yeah.
It's like the nerve endings have to reboot.
Yeah.
So, depending on how long your sitting is, I'd say if your sitting is 3 hours or less, then you're probably in a pretty good safety zone of that product. After the 3 hours, it can vary for people.
You're pushing it.
So if it's going to be a little longer than that, maybe look into the after you're started type of. It's usually a spray.
Yeah.
And that can work good too if you take a small break, 10, 15-minute break, and use it liberally all over it. And if the stencil is not needed at that point, then wrap it up with plastic and let that set on there for 10 minutes or so, and that usually kind of gives it a little extra oomph instead of just kind of spraying it as you go. But
it'll help you.
yeah,
get through it.
it works. It works.
Absolutely.
And as always, I'd like to mention that if you have sensitive skin, or if you have ever had allergic reactions to anything from the cane family, do a test pad.
Yeah, do a little bit on you and see if you die. If you don't,
just to make sure.
that's
If you
good.
don't react cool.
Yep.
Last time we did tattoo, Jack did, it was 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
It lasted through the whole thing, but we applied as we went.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
Well,
Like
you did it first and wrapped it. You heated it,
did,
wrapped
yeah.
it, and then it kept applying it during.
an hour before and then kept it on the whole time.
like
and
when
I
we take a
felt-
break, right? We
Yep.
put some more on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and wrapped
That'll
it
get you
again. I
through it.
felt
Wrapped it.
nothing
Yeah.
the entire
that's-
time.
So it's all about technique, man.
Yep.
And it's kind of pricey, and I think that's why people don't really use a lot at a time.
Right.
But it's just the nature of the beast. Either pay a high price and don't get any good out of it, or pay a high price and use it liberally, and you just got to buy more.
Right.
I mean, really, I know you use enough to where you think it's too much, and you're probably about right.
Yeah.
That's the way I do it.
Yeah, if
Point
it
where
looks
it's
over
greasy.
lotioned.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like
That,
I'm
like, you
icing a
look like-
cake almost.
Yeah, like you look like a male stripper.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look like a little kid who got into your lotion, just you just
Yep.
coated in it.
All those things.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, annoying fan. The beer, she's just drinking Coors Light.
Yum.
Okay. Oh, that's a good choice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
That's a
popular
Rocky
one.
Bottom thing.
She's been on a Yingling kick, but she's out right now.
Yingling.
That's DaVo's territory.
Okay.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a, if I'm right, it's a Chinese beer.
She said she's glad it didn't hurt and you got it back together, DaVo.
Yeah, it's nice to have 2 nipples instead of 3.
Instead of 3.
Man.
And then she said, why stretch nipple rings? Does it help with feeling or is it just for looks?
Both. Personally, I thought it added more sensitivity. It also increased the size of my nipples. I know that sounds weird, but that happened.
He's an alien.
Like the areola or just the actual
The
nip?
actual nipple, because I had underdeveloped nipples. They were just flat little nubs.
Well, most males do.
Yeah, and they weren't very sensitive except painful before. It made, I don't know, I like the way they looked, and plus it was a bragging rights of saying I'm at 6 gauge.
Well, and also it's
And
kind of a proportion thing, you know. You wouldn't want, gigantic rings on a little tiny guy, and you wouldn't want tiny little rings in a big guy. I think it would be.
And the other thing is that because it's more resistant, it felt more comfortable if they got caught and snagged.
A little more substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about it, most people are pierced at 14 gauge, maybe going up to 12, but give it plenty of time. We're talking a year and a half.
Yeah, don't rush it.
Yeah, because it does not feel good.
As a
even
girl,
anyway.
I don't know if I'd stretch them. I've only seen them stretched on guys.
Yeah. It was a big thing back in when I started piercing back in
Yeah,
the
late
90s.
90s and stuff.
It was a huge thing for dudes to do it.
Yeah, because everybody wanted the huge, 3/4 inch.
Well, you couldn't get cool jewelry until you got into like the bigger stuff.
Yeah, now
especially
it's
with
kind of
ears.
it's exactly the opposite now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't find the bigger stuff, the cool bigger stuff. It's all the smaller stuff.
Yeah, the bigger stuff just isn't selling anymore, I'm sure. People are, doesn't seem like, I mean, you tell me, but stretching isn't as prevalent, isn't as popular.
Not really.
Not
It's one of those things where it's not like every kid that goes to the mall is getting it done. It's part of the loss of the monoculture.
Yeah. It's decreased, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah,
of
it's
us-
one of those things. But I
All
mean,
of us cool Gen Xers that had it done are like over it.
I mean, because we were all just like, this is the way it is. I mean, that was
Yeah.
kind of our thing. And then like every generation since then has been like, this is the way it is.
And now we're stretching out naturally. And
Like,
Yeah. Now gravity's doing it all for us anyway.
like what's with wearing the backpack with both straps, you freaking geeks? You've been doing that for so long. That is the geekiest, dorkiest
very
way to wear
secure,
your
though.
backpack. Stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not sliding off your
Man, I
shoulder
feel
every
so much
5
better.
minutes.
Like a weight is just.
Yeah, it stays on you better and go ride your skateboard and bicycle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Anyway,
She said you weren't wearing the proper PPE.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
then CTS Diva said, yes, thanks so much. I thought it was maybe a gimmick, but I do see more and more people using it. Appreciate the knowledge, guys. Heart emoji.
Oh,
Absolutely.
damn.
Thank you.
glad to help.
We've made it. We've been loved. Yeah.
Do you feel loved?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think so.
My meter's going up a little bit.
I mean, like I always say, never underestimate
Like
the
the
power
Grinch.
of lying to yourself.
Question, is there a reason certain areas hurt more than others with a tattoo?
Hell
For
yeah.
some reason,
Yeah.
my outer tricep was horrible. Seems like an easy area like my calf and quad.
Your outer tricep?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, I know where it is, you dicks.
Usually that's not a bad
That's
spot.
supposed to be one of the, I mean, really, about the easiest.
it can be, I think, to some people.
Well,
a little
obviously,
bit.
to
Yeah,
some
everybody's different.
people.
Like,
Obviously,
well,
someone.
The back of my calves were horrible, and they said theirs weren't bad at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
back
thought
of my
that was
calf?
It's so
That was the worst.
horrible. Yep, that's right up
Both
there
of
with
them.
those.
I mean, I had two completely different styles, different artists, different, I mean, years apart. And both of them, that will be my hell. When I go to hell, it'll be me strapped to a table and just being tattooed on the back of my calves for eternity.
Ugh.
That'll be it.
It's going to be threading 16 gauge jewelry.
All right. Or
With
make,
no glasses.
while I'm making needles. Okay, we'll throw that in.
Making needles.
Yeah,
yes.
while I'm making needles. Getting
Where are my damn glasses? I can't.
I kind of always
Fuck you.
everybody feels everything differently. It's part of it is pain experience, because the more pain experience you have, the easier your body is. You've learned how to deal with it. The other thing is we've all had a partner that is sensitive in certain areas that isn't sensitive in other areas, and that's because we're all genetically different.
Yeah. Well, your nerve endings migrate and move. Like the
Yeah.
ones on the outside of your arms go more towards the inside because they get less sunlight and less, wear and tear and touch. So it's more sensitive. And
We're organic. It's not
Yeah.
like they're in a pattern.
yeah, there's no blueprint.
And
Yeah.
sometimes people like injuries, like previous injuries, I've seen play factor in making something not hurt as much or more.
Right.
There's so many variables to it that it's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no rhyme or
it can
reason.
really be, people ask, does it hurt? And it's almost being asked by a blind person, what does blue look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is kind of impossible. The closest I say is it's, to me, it's about the level of around a bee sting or getting smacked with a rubber band. Just that it's kind of a sharp sting, that turns into kind of a sunburny, achy sting as you go on. But, then you'll have those people, whether it hurt or not, are like, nope, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel anything. I love it. I get
guys
tattooed
suck.
forever. I never felt pain once. It's like, well,
Or it's
okay, good
the
for
people
you.
with like 5,000 little bitty, like 2-second tattoos.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
sit down for like, 9 hours.
Yeah, setting time does play a big role too. The
Because your
longer it
tolerance
goes.
drops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
'Cause
get
even if it
tired.
starts out not hurting, by the end of it, when it's raw and has been worked and wiped, and you're like, don't touch me there anymore.
Because I always say it's like it's more agitating than painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's really what happens. It's like your body just gets like, I'm sick of this.
I'm over this.
And if you're a person that doesn't like to sit, that can't just relax and just chill and not be going, what am I going to do next? I got to do this. It'll help, you know. But if you're the kind of person that really doesn't like to sit still and has to be up and doing something, you're going to have a tougher time.
It drives you nuts.
Yeah, because not only are you having to deal with the drain on your self from that, then you're draining yourself mentally thinking about all this stuff and being uncomfortable and moving and waiting and thinking and looking and waiting. It's only been 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're fighting yourself to sit still.
Yeah.
And if you tense up, you're
burning yourself.
You're burning
That's
yourself
worse.
out.
Yep.
So that's
It'll
why
make you
really
exhausted.
good night's sleep, the best you can get. Eat a good, like a rounded meal, before you come in. Is really, I think, the two best things you can do to keep you going, because
And I think
if you're already worn out,
Stay hydrated. If you don't, like the night before, don't go out heavy drinking and stuff if you can avoid it. Drink plenty of water. Bring snacks with you. Bring water and juice with you.
don't pump yourself full of ibuprofen.
No.
Nope.
No. It's not good for
you. Don't need it. It's not going to make anything better. The other thing is just if you have joint issues or you have issues with your back or something, talk to your artist about that when you before you start doing, so they can try to adjust and get you in a comfortable position, or know that every hour or so you need to move
adjust.
Yeah, we deal with that all the time with shoulder injuries and all kinds of injuries from past oopses or football games or whatever. So I mean, that's one of my big priorities, because the more comfortable you are, the easier it is for me to work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me know. Don't be sitting there writhing because your knee is hurting and
Because of a certain position or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi, Heidi. My name is Jessie. I work here. I work up front.
Oh.
And you must be friends with Jack, because the comment was,
I don't have any
holy
friends."
hell, where is this lady narrating from?
She refuses to let us put her on camera.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's because she's right in front of the green screen. Even though it isn't properly lit, we could just put whatever we wanted behind her.
It's
That'd
true.
be funny.
Whatever.
So
I
many
am
ideas.
from the South. I am from Virginia. I don't sound like the rest of these fuckers here.
She's a little more
Thank
hillbilly
God.
than the
And
rest of
they
us.
give me so much shit for it.
Yep. I'm trying to make her sound like she's been through a third grade education, but it's
we're
a struggle.
Virginians.
I graduated.
I ain't never seen nothing like that.
We're
I
from
always,
Virginia.
whenever that comes up, and this shows my age, I always think of the Shake and Bake commercial.
Shake and bake.
Hey, Shake and
I'll
Bake, I'll help.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
that one.
that's showing the age.
Yeah, it is.
Also, she's Jimmy's wife.
Yeah, that's my beautiful wife.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Here she
she's going
comes.
to come out here and
Ta-da!
Tinsel.
Tinsel.
Don't
Did you
squish
see
the
tinsel?
thing.
they don't squish the little tiny thing.
Don't step on the guinea pig
Oh,
dog.
yeah.
Yeah, she got a new dog.
No, here we go.
Part gerbil, part
Well,
dog.
It's a trash panda.
she was told it was a dog, but I don't know.
I'm thinking it's a trash panda. It's just little.
It's a dog.
Oh God, look what it's
I was
devolved into.
Yes, it's devolved into that.
And no, my pit bull hasn't tried to eat it yet.
And
Yeah.
all the guys here love her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and except I think I'm developing bad posture because I keep having to look down.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't step on it.
It's hard not to. Yeah.
I already stepped on her once. I'm sorry.
But she's so cute.
Yeah.
She said, "Aw, yay, nice to see you."
Mm.
Yeah, I know they never show me. They stick me in the corner.
She won't let us show her. Don't let her lie.
And she said, "No, Prince Harry wasn't wearing the proper PPE up in."
Oh,
that's what it was.
okay.
Okay, we were
No,
wondering
he
about that.
certainly wasn't. He
No
needed to
pun
put on an
intended.
extra
Yeah.
mask on his.
Next time, don't go run around the Arctic with your Speedo, bro. I mean, jeez.
There it is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you'd think they'd have like a course or something that they'd make these people take before they let them go down there.
Well,
Yeah, it's gonna be cold, right? Where you
He's-
going? Don't put out nothing in flesh showing.
Yeah, I mean,
Involuntary
even-
circumcision. Wow,
Even
know.
Disney World has like a little bit of a disclaimer.
I would have got a
before you-
scarf for that little buddy or something to go up there. You know, jeez.
I think he's. I mean, he's been in the military and stuff before.
Yeah,
So
flew
you-
helicopters and stuff.
yeah, you think he'd be pretty trained on that. I don't know. I'm curious, but I don't want to know.
Yeah,
About
know?
how it happened.
Yeah, kind of. Like I want to know how it happened, but I want to, I don't want it to be his wiener. And maybe like a girl, if he had boobs and then one of
has a
his
boob.
boobs fell off,
yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be easier for me because I can't really relate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you freeze your boob off? I mean, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
You know.
So
Well,
It is a mystery.
you have to read the book.
no.
Maybe that's what it was. It was just a good,
Yeah,
good
it's
a Tell me it's
ploy
just spin
to
for the
get
book.
people to,
It's
like
book
to
bait.
check the book out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's book
Oh,
bait.
he almost
read the
got
It's
book.
clickbait.
And watch
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Netflix special.
So book bait.
sucker.
Yeah, everybody has a Netflix special now.
Oh, I walked right into it.
I use me
When do we start
Twinkie
filming?
clickbait.
When do we start filming ours?
Netflix
I
special.
think we already are.
All right. See ya, Netflix.
Yeah,
It's just chopped into tiny
we're going to be
pieces.
haunting people for years.
I don't even know what it means, and I love it.
Nobody would
Anarchy,
wanna watch that.
anarchy.
It would just be Jimmy running around all day doing lines from movies. All the guys answering them.
Whatever. We're in the know when it comes to our, pop culture.
From the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, from our
From the
From our
90s.
decade.
If you want to know a song or lyrics or who did it or any kind of quote from a movie, I'm your guy. Anything else, it's one of these dudes.
Have you checked your asshole?
Have you checked your butthole?
Skid up, boot up.
Oh, you were quoting. I mean, you can't really talk because you were quoting Snatch earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
The 5 minutes thing.
I did.
It was 5 minutes, 10 minutes
But
ago,
I
Charlie.
can't do accents other than my
I
own.
don't know.
So
It's in tip-top shape.
You got that one
Just
down,
don't know
though.
about the
Yeah.
butt.
You nail it.
You got Hillbilly in the book.
Can't believe Squidbillies hasn't called you yet.
Well, they were about to, and then it got canceled.
Oh,
Gosh darn it.
Yeah, well.
what?
No more truck boat.
Why
truck.
in the world would you cancel such an intelligent show as the Squidbillies?
It was a huge hit.
I can't believe it.
Lack of
I blame it
lack
on
of
Dolly.
inspiration.
Oh.
Don't blame anything on Dolly. Dolly's sweet.
I
Yeah.
liked Squidbillies. That was good.
And
Of course, you related.
They filmed it in our hometown. It's cool. I'm just kidding.
We all know
This
each
feels
other.
like watching home movies.
Yes.
That's why I like Moonshiners so much.
Right.
Yeah.
I can
Oh,
actually
Lord
understand them.
almighty.
I don't need the subtitles.
I know, it's sad.
And the subtitles are wrong most of the time.
Most of the time, 'cause they don't know what the hell they're saying either.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like somebody
What did he
fell
just
asleep
say?
on the
I think
keyboard.
This, I don't know. Just type that. That's what we think.
All right. Is our knowledge not wanted?
Oh, she
not
wants
being
to know
acquired.
if anybody from here is from Texas because of the Texas star on the wall.
No.
No.
I don't think. No.
We tried to hang it
And it
upside
is
down.
known,
but
I guess,
wouldn't
it
do
is a Texas star, but they were around. They've been around for a while. I guess in Texas you would directly relate it to that, but I guess being not from Texas, it's a star.
My
We're
last
star
name
stupid.
is Star.
Yeah,
but
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
From
And it
Iowa,
sits next
though.
to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it does have barbed wire around it, so it's got that
It's got
little
a cattle
Texas
bit like-
flair.
Very Texas-y.
Yeah.
But,
She's from Texas.
rock
however,
on.
Right on.
Rock on.
however, barbed wire was invented in Iowa.
Well,
look at
all the
you,
good
knowledge.
stuff.
And
Look at that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You've been
It's our
watching Who
fault.
Developed It, right?
That
Say
was-
what?
He's been watching that show where it tells you who developed
How
what,
it's
and where
made?
it came from,
That
Well,
was a
that's
great
old
show.
knowledge. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was some of the first patent.
But although nobody's from Texas, but DaVo is a queen. So, there are some things that kind of fall into line.
That's only my official title.
Right. I'm just trying to gain you some cred, bro.
Just working on it.
Yeah.
She wants to know where everybody is from. My hubby is from New London, Iowa, she said.
Oh, where's that at?
I don't know.
I know the old one.
I'm from Virginia. I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm from Keokuk, Iowa.
Yes.
The lovely
Iowa.
southeastern dingle of Iowa.
Wait, the Florida of Iowa.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Florida of Iowa.
What language do they speak down there?
Keys.
River. That's
River
what they
speaks
speak
It's
there.
definitely river.
River Spate.
How about you, Davo?
I actually grew up here in Des Moines, in a suburb that pretends to be a suburb but isn't one, Pleasant Hill. And I've lived here my whole life except for a short stint in Chicago that didn't last very long. I'm a rocks and gravel kind of guy, and I always have believed that it's not greener on the other side, and that if you can make it where you're at and you can make a difference where you're at, you should stay there.
I think that's a good point. I grew up in Sheraton, and then I was about 13 or so. I moved to Des Moines, and so Des Moines kind of feels like where I grew up more so, because all that, teen years and stuff, and 20s, 30s, all that. But yeah, I've been living in Osceola for the past almost 10 years now, which is
Has
just
it been that
south.
long?
Yeah,
Wow.
I moved down there when I was right before my 40th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I live
So,
in that part.
coming up on a decade down there, and
Man,
I know feels like yesterday.
it does.
Yep, you can't make me leave.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're transplants, but I'm a vagabond. I've lived everywhere.
Yeah. Where are you a transplant from?
From Virginia.
Oh.
Where?
Appomattox is where I was born. And then we moved to Lynchburg and Richmond and all that good stuff as I was getting up older in school and middle school and elementary school and all that.
All the places my great-great-grandfather went to burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richmond burned a couple times.
He was there with Sherman.
Yep. It burned a couple times. Burned in the Civil War, burned after that. The race riots in the 50s.
Is that and that, I guess that's the reason you can't get matches there?
Yeah. We got cigarettes, but you got to light them on the stove.
Yeah. You got to rub the sticks
Keeps them
together.
safe. Yeah, keeps you safe.
And they're only $2 a pack.
Right.
They've gone way up, but Philip Morris is there and all
Yeah,
that good stuff.
that's
But
what I was
it's a
gonna
neat
say. It's a
town because, you know, you're right down the road from Jamestown, the first settlement in America. You're right up the road from Yorktown, where the British surrendered to us.
Ah, suckers. Try it again.
You know, we're one of the oldest states.
Yeah.
We're one of the first 13 colonies. So, you know, there's a lot of history there. It's really neat. You can still go tour the Confederate White House that Jefferson Davis had there in downtown Richmond. Had the first working oil light inside, so it had an oil line ran to it on his desk, so he could have light all day and all night if he needed it.
Yeah, too bad the place
interesting.
it did burn down and they had to rebuild it.
You know,
It was a joke
everything
because it's
burned.
the first flame. All right.
No,
it
Sherman just had a match and he was good with it.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, you know.
But a lot of the rubble from like existing buildings and stuff, like the footings and all that stuff, are still there in
It's
some
repurposed.
places.
Well, John Wayne's from Iowa, so screw you, okay?
Yeah, that's pretty
Yes,
awesome.
From it's not
So
Winter said
the
actually,
Duke. We got the Duke.
but he's from Marion or some little town by there.
Some close to there.
And they moved his birthhouse into Winterset.
Yeah.
Close day.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, nothing
it's
else
close
happened in
enough.
Winterset. You got to give them something. Geez.
Technically, you know.
Yeah.
Tornadoes in the Duke, baby.
And then Captain Kirk is gonna be born in Riverside, Iowa.
Yeah, that's
sometime.
right.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah, pretty
he
soon,
was.
isn't it?
He was already. I think he
Oh,
was
yeah?
born already.
Yeah. Okay. So he's
I
like
think I
a
remember
little
hearing that.
toddler walking around
I
now.
think so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Back to the Future was like the other day.
Oh
The
yeah.
day he was supposed to show up in the future.
Oh
That was like last week.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one on the
oh,
movie where they're
Lord.
supposed to show up in 2023. Blah, blah, blah.
Finally.
Was it 23?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Dang. I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it's been a while.
No
Still-
hoverboards, no Jaws 3000. I mean, I'm really upset about it.
I mean,
We're gonna have Snap
We had
2.
those stupid Air Jordan things.
They don't lace themselves.
Didn't they come
They
out?
kind of,
with
yeah,
one?
they
did
tighten
use
up.
those.
Well, they tighten up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you pump
They-
the thing.
and nobody could afford them.
Well, that was the
Oh,
pumps.
yeah,
Those
the
Reebok.
yeah,
no,
those,
but they did come out with like a special edition.
yeah,
version.
for the
Oh,
Back
yeah,
to the
for
Future
Back to the
shoes.
Future shoes.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that Barbie hoverboard. You know,
Right?
So, Mattel.
Yeah,
if
that
you
is
Yeah,
want
like
that Mattel
dangerous.
hoverboard.
Yeah.
She said I think it's her stepfather-in-law is from Keokuk, and she said,
Okay.
"What?
Yeah.
I want to say New London would be in
Small
eastern
world.
part of the state, so like around Iowa City and
Maybe."
that area.
Okay.
And I'm originally from Elkins, West Virginia, and I grew up in Prince George, Virginia. Then I've
By Richmond.
lived a couple places.
Prince George.
Yeah,
Prince
Prince George is like part of Richmond
Who's
County.
who's that?
It's an
The
English
Prince
phrase
from England.
Not-
Why?
Not to be
because
confused
when it was
with-
originally settled, it was an English colony.
Yeah, Virginia was one of the first 13 colonies, so we had a lot of Victorian names, like from the Queen and the Kings.
But didn't we want to kind of get rid of that stuff?
No, they kept it.
Apparently not.
There's a lot of stuff named after
They would have
Indians
had to
too.
change all the signs.
You got the Poe White Parkway,
No, I mean,
It's Pow Height.
Powhite. I know I was being funny, but everybody goes Poe White.
I
No,
just
it's
didn't
Powhite.
think they I didn't think they really dug what was going on over there. So
Well,
it's
might
weird
as
that they'd come over here and go, well, let's make it just like home.
Well, they were
you have
cool
a
with
whole,
it until
a
the
whole
whole tea
section of the
incident.
country that's referred to as New England.
I
Yeah.
don't get it.
And my friend Jay Brummett, who was from Texas, thought that New England was a state.
Well, I guess I
He
could
thought
see
he
that,
was being
and
transferred to a state called New England.
they loved where they were from. It's just the government kind of sucked. So I guess I
Yeah.
could see
Well, yeah,
that.
they just moved here for more rights, but they were still attached to the old.
I could see like if stuff went really bad here, moving somewhere else and calling it New Iowa.
Well, hey,
So
we got a
it's-
New Virginia right here.
Yeah, in Iowa.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Because they messed up the first two.
I guess I
Well, you know.
I guess I can see that.
Third time's a charm.
Well, you know.
She
I like
said
'em-
New London is pretty close to Burlington.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be that part. Burlington, that's a lovely place.
I like when
Great
you go,
coast.
was there West
Another
Virginia?
river
Because
town.
it's
They
west
used,
of
they used to
Virginia.
have a great jazz festival there.
Oh yeah.
And they're
Everybody
in
knows
one-
that.
And they're in
Sure,
one
who
in
doesn't?
Davenport because Bix Butterbeck was from there, which you're all going, who's that?
Yeah, we've been there for a minute.
We grew up with mountains and oceans.
I grew up with more sophistication.
Yeah,
I grew
corn.
up with detasseling and tractors
Corn.
and four-wheelers and
Well, we had all that stuff, but we
pigs
had mountains and oceans. You could surf. You could ride dirt.
No, we live in the most altered environment in the planet,
Yeah.
Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Big
there's
sky
only,
country.
There's only like literally like 0.2% of the original habitat left.
Wow.
Used to be
Well, we
prairie
improved
grass.
it. How much? We'll get to the next
you give crazy
2%.
people tractors. I mean, we can just change the whole landscape.
I mean, you ever see a deer going somewhere, having eaten a poop, and it not change? I mean, come on now, we're gonna change things.
I
we
took
got
Jack
lots-
with me to Virginia one time.
Yeah,
and
I
he kept
did.
going, you cannot see the sky very long here because there's so many trees and it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's just so
If man, I don't
vegetation
know
and stuff.
how like someone could transplant from a place like Iowa to there. I mean, it's really cool and kind of overwhelming and beautiful. There's just forests everywhere. But that's the thing. There's forest everywhere.
Until you get to the coast, and it's nothing.
Right. Yeah.
ocean.
But man, you can't see the sky but a strip of gum at a time. Like you get these little tastes of sky.
Yeah.
I think it would really drive me nuts because I really appreciate and just love the looking, at the
openness.
sky.
That's the one thing I noticed when the first time I went to Sturgis. I'm like driving out from Virginia, and once I got out to like Iowa and out South Dakota and stuff,
Yeah.
you could see like the shadows on the ground from the clouds,
Right?
Yeah.
in the sky because there's so much sky,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I remember walking around for days just going, Jesus, all this sky, like I
Right.
feel like I'm in the ocean, like
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's-
mean, it was considered the Great American Desert because
Yeah.
they couldn't figure out what to do with all this prairie savannah.
yeah,
yeah. It was.
plains and whatnot.
And when you're flying over, it looks like an anthill.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just see like these little tunnels, and then there'll be like an opening where there's houses, and then you'll see another little ant tunnel dug through the trees, and then there'll be another little
Yep.
bald spot. Yeah,
It's neat.
it's really, really crazy, and all the hills, and it's
Mountain range and all
completely. It's like a different planet. It's so interesting when because I haven't been to the East Coast a whole lot, only a couple
Right.
times, and flying that low over there,
Yeah.
it gives you such a
'Cause we
cool
went over the,
perspective and all
we went over
that.
the Smokies and the Blue Ridge and all that where
Yeah.
it comes together there from Tennessee and Kentucky into Virginia.
Yeah.
And that was the funnest thing for me, is watching your reaction, because you were just like, gosh, I mean, it's beautiful, but like, man.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
really mind blowing. I couldn't believe just how buttoned in and how just
Once you come down, you're in
surrounded
the
everything
canopy.
was.
You're
Yeah,
under the
it's
canopy.
all
You're in the
forest.
jungle,
It's really crazy. You would think that being the first, entry point of, human beings kind
Yeah,
of
be paved
the
over.
big coming over. Yeah, well, it would just be gone. Because materials are needed as you go, and you would,
Well, they let a lot of it grow back, but that was
Sure.
considered more of a mostly Scottish settlements, which were people running away from oppression in England and
Yeah.
Yeah.
oppressing everybody else. So it was kind of more of a
Yeah.
more of a hill
The Puritans and the
wilderness
Pilgrims and all that.
existence. So-
wasn't a whole lot of heavy industry type stuff. It was
No.
people just
No.
making a simple living, getting out of where they were more than
Yeah,
more.
farmers and booze brewers and stuff wanted
Right.
religious freedom and freedom
Sure.
to make their alcohol, so be left alone, and
Right.
not so much government breathing down their
little
neck.
little mountain
Like
top
these days.
kind of
That
community.
lasted.
Yeah.
They saved all that for California.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, by the
Let's
time
do
they
it
got
out
to
here.
California, they had refined it down to where nobody wants to stay there.
Yeah, we can process this.
Right.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with California.
No,
You
can live
liar.
there.
I wouldn't live there
Yeah, exactly.
unless,
Why
nothing
is
wrong
there
with
something wrong with it?
unless I could afford to live in Santa Monica, which I'll never be able to afford to live
I
in
like
Santa
freedom.
And I think that's wrong.
Monica. Yes.
I like
There it
owning
is.
firearms and being off my porch and stuff like that.
Oh, there's plenty of firearms in California.
Yeah,
there's
just-
no way around that.
Yeah, just the bad
Oh
guys.
no,
have
there's
them.
not because they're outlawed. You're
Nobody
not able
legal.
to.
no,
So,
there's plenty. I can
No,
tell
none
you.
of the law-abiding
From
people have
personal
guns.
experience, there's
None,
plenty
of
of
the,
it.
none of the law-abiding people
Yeah,
can have them.
all the
Okay.
thieves
Everybody else
and all the criminals have guns because
Yeah, totally.
you're a criminal if you own a gun there.
That's the great thing about the United States. And I talk to people from Europe, and they don't really understand how diverse the entire country is. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
there are
Yeah.
very diverse, environments and political views and
Absolutely.
culture and everything else, because so many people moved here. Some of it blended together and created new cultures. Some of it just stayed in its own little
It's a
Bubble.
melting pot.
Well, and there's 50 states, individual countries you
Countries,
could almost
basically.
and that was the whole idea.
Yep.
You've got this place that's so diverse that if you're going to find some place that you absolutely love that feels incredible, and that's why you have separation of all these states with their governors, and you have a federal government that just kind of makes sure everything's cool.
Yeah.
And in theory, is a great idea.
It protects itself.
I love it when people from
kinda
Europe
what
come
it
over and they're
is.
like, man, you can go around all of Europe in like 26 hours, hit every
Yes.
country. And I'm like, oh, it takes
It's like,
over
we have
25 just to
fantastic-
get to Denver.
It's like, and that's one of the things when when I'm geeking out, because I geek out a lot on public transportation and other, because I don't drive, and
He rides an e-bike.
yes, I
He's
do.
a bicycler.
I have like almost a zero carbon impact.
Yeah, have you seen those little black kids that are digging out the lithium and all the chemicals they
Yeah, I
need to
know, I
build
know,
all those
I know.
batteries, and they're
It's
being
his
whipped
fault.
and abused and killed
But
so they can not save the planet because
you-
there's not
if
enough
you
resources to make it enough batteries to make an impact anyway, and all of the fossil fuels it takes to get all of the materials it takes to build a battery from
Okay,
here
okay.
to there and to there, and then even when you have the battery, it takes coal to charge the battery, so you're impacting just as much as you would. Go on.
not as much as I would if I had a 2,000 ton.
You're being lied to.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's like when I've talked to people in Europe, they're like, I don't understand why there's not trains here, and I'm like, yeah,
We have trains.
We have trains, but we don't have public transportation trains to the
In
degree
cities.
they do in Europe, where you can go from one city to another city, which I'd
Well,
love
country,
to have here,
yeah.
but it's a lot bigger of a country
Yeah.
than
Well-
it is, to
Well,
go
Europe's
from.
like
Part of the
size of
reason
Texas,
is
man.
our gas wasn't $10 a gallon until a minute ago,
Yeah.
and
It's
theirs
still
has
only
been super
$3.99.
expensive forever.
Yeah.
And here we have choice. If we weren't until now, or priced out of a car. Oh, it's this much. You got to pay this tax. You got to do all this. You got to blah blah blah. Oh, and
And
we're
the
not going to
distance.
improve the roads. We're going to keep them this freaking big, so you can't drive a car anyway. So you're forced to be on the bus. We have freedom, and a lot of people want the freedom to have their own vehicle to
that.
travel wherever they want.
And the mass
and
of
when
land.
you're in a place that's got too many people crammed up its own ass, you have to rely on public transit. And then when you have to rely on the public transit, you're having to rely on someone else, and that's perfect.
But like the size of Europe, you can build a train
That's what I was saying.
that goes around all of Europe.
Yeah.
You know, like
very
you could
quickly.
build a train that went all over Texas. But
Yeah.
to build a train that went all over like America, like,
Actually,
transit
they are
time.
doing.
They're doing them, but like it's so much larger of a project because
Yeah, I know.
we're so huge of a landmass.
We need a bullet train.
You know, it takes almost 48
Oh, you
hours
don't
to
even
drive
wanna
from one
know.
side of the coast to the other side of the coast in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so anti that. I think it would be awesome. I mean, there's technology that I don't know if it was Musk or somebody said that there's a train they could build from LA to New York, and it would be a handful of hours.
That'd
yeah,
be
it was just
awesome.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, that
We'll
would
get
be
up to-
cool.
You know,
Dude, that'd be amazing.
and make the tickets $4,000,
That's
$5,000 a seat, and you're going to fill it every single time.
Yep.
There's enough rich people that live in LA and New York that
They would
do
travel.
business, that go back and forth. It'd be like the Concorde,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
they could park their private jets and not even have to take it.
and once they realize that and establish that and get routine going, then maybe there's shorter lines you could build between the other cities, kind of like an Amtrak. But I guess that takes a lot of money, and then you're going through multiple states. And I
Well,
don't
they
know.
want to connect us. They don't want to
Maybe
connect us.
maybe peasants like us could stow away.
You can work in
somewhere.
stewage. Yeah, you're in steerage, buddy. You're down there with the
Yeah.
baggages.
Well, I remember when air flight was like that. Like only rich people took it.
Oh yeah,
And you used to dress up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Well,
you
it
could
used
smoke
to be
cigarettes on
nice.
airplanes.
Of course, you could
Had their
also
little
smoke
ashtrays.
on them too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody freaked out if you whipped out a Bic lighter and lighted up a cigarette
You used to get more than a
nothing.
bag of peanuts.
Well, you could actually
Yeah.
take it later on a.
and drink a
That's when
bottle
people
of
were
booze.
civilized.
Yeah, that's when we were adults and stuff.
Yeah.
Had to
We
sit
had
there
roots.
for hours.
We
No,
had
everybody was just according
standard.
Everybody was just drunk all the time.
Yeah,
but I mean, you know, we got along better.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? Everybody seemed
know.
happy.
It's a good
Yeah.
time. to drink.
If you weren't happy, you could fake it because you were drunk.
Yeah.
They were looking stylish.
Even
And
the
you
pilot.
died early enough to where you didn't really figure out what was going on and how shitty things were.
Didn't
You know,
matter.
you
Didn't
were
live that
done
long,
before
you know?
then. And
Yeah.
What are you gonna do in 20 years? I'm gonna be dead. What are you gonna be doing?
yeah, hey, don't got to worry about it.
Do we have
Let
any?
me read some of these
Sorry.
real quick.
Oh, there's been a few.
Yeah, she said steamboat days. I think she was asking about your jazz thing. You were
Yeah, I can't remember what they called it, but yeah, it was down there on this pier thing. The only reason I know about it is because back in the '80s, I used to know a couple kids there that did BMX freestyling, and we used to go over there and ride with them occasionally on the big dock thing. And there was this
Yeah.
real scary bridge that was
Steamboat.
covered in like mayflies.
Ugh.
Oh yeah,
Oh, those things
yeah.
are gross.
Boo.
Yeah, mayflies are evil.
Yeah, they bite. They hurt.
And then she commented, that's how Germany was, all tall trees and stuff. We were so dang amazed. We were sent to Texas next, all over the country.
Oh, right.
Pretty open
And
there.
then she said, dang, had to step away for a few, really hating I missed whatever is going on.
Don't worry, we talked about public transit.
Going to have to rewatch later. And then she said, I don't know what I missed, but my pet peeve is why are we trying to create driverless 18-wheelers when we originally had trains for transport?
Exactly.
So,
It's because the train companies haven't invested in their infrastructure in 40 years. And most of the people that are running the train industry don't have any long-term goals. It's all about
Charles Schwab.
the biggest return for their stock.
Well, we're running out of truck drivers too because they had to make them automatics already because a lot of truck drivers don't know how to drive stick shift, which is ludicrous to me. But anyway,
Because it's all about money.
Yeah.
nobody
It's
wants to work.
corruption and money is why.
and then
That's it. That's it.
Canadian Peaches said Al Capone had his own train from Chicago to Regina,
Gina, was it? I want to say.
Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's up at Bohemian place he used to hang out at. I think was up there way.
Yeah, because you go up there to vacation and down
Mhm.
to, what was it, Hot Springs?
Yeah.
So he had a railroad built.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
freaking
yeah.
awesome.
Well, I mean, Roosevelt used his car after they caught him for tax evasion because it was bulletproof.
What does that have to do with the train?
I'm just saying it was Al
He had
Capone's.
his own train.
He had his own bulletproof car, train, all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
So it's
They
an
all own
anti-bullet
their
train.
own.
so
Yeah.
you can expect that if someone has a bulletproof car, there's probably a railroad somewhere in their repertoire.
Well, no, that's just how big he was at the time. that Al
Well, you
Capone had a
know.
lot
I
of cool
think
stuff.
an armored car seems like a pussy move next to a frickin' rail line. I don't think you can go from rail line to
I don't think
an armored car and you're
I
upping
don't
the
think he
ante.
owned the rail line.
Yeah, I
think he
wasn't
just
up in it.
had
I was just saying he had a
the
lot of cool
train.
stuff. He was one of the first. Like nobody else in America had that stuff at the time.
So it wasn't his rail line.
This says it.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't know. It
He
could have
had
been a
his own
small.
Could have been.
train from Chicago.
It used to be there was all these small railroads that you could
you
buy.
could buy.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I guess I'll never know. Not from you people.
Google, man.
Now,
You got a computer in your
if
pocket.
you want to go down a rabbit hole, just
No, I just want to know if the guy
Just-
owned his own rail line or not.
Google
'Cause that-
Google it.
anything that has to do with railroad history, because there are a lot of people that are
You know,
very,
there are-
very into it.
There are other search engines.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you can
DuckDuckGo.
your Al
Yeah,
Capone
you could do
train,
that.
own train.
oh, what was the other one?
Wikipedia it is, but
Tor.
Bing. That's
Bing.
it.
No, see, okay,
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy.
yeah,
Oh,
Or
Ultra
you could use
Vista.
the Tor browser.
Safari.
That would get you.
Yes.
Safari.
yeah.
Safarian.
So should we talk more? Or
You got any more questions?
She said, by the way, are the black boots a winter thing? Y'all going back to red tennis shoes in the summer?
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you know, that's
kinda.
why we wear brightly colored shoes the rest of the time of the year.
It's
They didn't
freaking
make 'em in
cold
red.
here.
Yeah.
You can
it's-
get
We've
a-
had snow like the last 3 or 4 days. And
Yeah.
As a man, you can get away with red shoes.
Yeah.
You cannot get away with red boots.
I'd try them if they had them. They don't have them.
See, I told you about him,
I got
guys.
blue.
See,
I got blue gray ones.
Cherry.
yeah, that's like red. What the?
we used
No.
to take. We used to take the cherry
Not our
red
black, I
Dr.
meant.
Martens, and then use oxblood polish on them, so they were kind of more like oxblood. That
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of dark
dark.
reddish.
Yeah, that's the closest I ever came to having red boots.
I'm not gonna have red boots.
Why not?
Make a pair. I'll wear them. If you're out there making boots,
Because
I ain't scared.
I'm thinking of 100 different ways a guy could wear red boots, and none of
Wrestlers?
them are good.
There's wrestlers.
Yeah.
There's,
They don't wear
Flash
those in
Gordon.
public, though, do they?
I mean, they are in public when they're on TV out there wrestling.
Oh, on TV when
Yeah.
they're not in public while they're performing on a set, not in public on TV.
at a civic center when they're
Strong
filming
men.
like a
Strong
you know,
men.
being filmed
Wrestlers.
while they're at the Civic Center
with
playing
all
a
those people
role,
in public around them.
playing a role,
Superheroes.
playing a
Yeah,
role.
Superman wears them. Wonder Woman wore them.
Superman's not real. Wonder Woman's not
Why do
real.
you gotta crush my dreams, man? Like, what
It's
is
all
up
I
with you
do.
guys?
It's what keeps me alive.
He would absolutely wear red boots. If
Now, I could pull them off too.
No, you couldn't.
I could.
No, the bad thing is you think you could.
I don't care if anybody else likes them or not. I know I can wear them.
Okay, what about red Levi's?
No,
No.
that's too far.
Ooh, yeah.
I used to have a pair years ago.
Yeah, you
You're
probably
weird.
had those green yellow ones
They were
too.
the corduroys, weren't they?
No, they were red Levi's.
It's even worse.
Then they had those dark green ones. They were
Yeah.
Mr. Green
501s.
jeans wore them. I
Yeah.
hated them. They were awful. On
the
Happy
puke,
Kangaroo.
the puke jeans.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awful. It was like something you got wore for punishment.
They were all sold on clearance.
Nah, they were the hot fashion.
I'm getting you
for a
beat up at
minute.
school today. You're going to wear the awful stuff.
Unpopular opinion. I think black jeans on guys look gross.
Yeah, I had that phase for about a minute.
I
Yeah.
don't like them.
Black jeans only
I don't
look
own any.
okay if they're faded to almost like a silver gray.
Yeah.
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 What about acid wash?
No, not anymore.
Never on it, dude.
No.
It's more of a stonewash,
It's like
used to look.
fringe jackets. They're just.
Yeah, you got to be a special. You got to be Dolly
He likes
Parton to
fringe
wear
jackets.
that. I do. I don't have
You
a
do.
fringe jacket.
If you're
Not anymore.
if you're a cowboy,
I did when I was in high school. That was
Yeah.
my dad's when he was in high school.
Well, we were going to do like the Easy
I wish
Rider
I
for
still had it.
Halloween.
Oh, yeah,
that
I
was
Wish I
cool.
still had that. Yeah, I wore it here and there
Yeah.
in high school.
in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was a
Yeah.
weird time.
It
It
was
was,
a
like
different time. It was
grunge period, and we still wore our backpacks right,
I
and
remember when. Yeah,
I didn't
Yeah.
carry a backpack.
you
Well,
only wear it on
no.
one sleeve because you don't care.
No, I just didn't take any books home.
If it's going to come off the back pretty quickly, I would say, that's probably why I wore it with one
Yeah.
strap.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be hiking, I'll use
You know,
two.
If I'm riding a
I'll be a
motorcycle, I'll put
dork.
2 on.
well, it's why
you know.
your shirt has a top button, but you don't button it.
Right.
It has
Ooh,
two
used
straps.
to.
Well, you did, dork.
Nerd.
It has
part of
two
my-
straps, but you're only supposed to use both
One.
if you're like hiking or you have a rifle
You're riding
or
your
someone's
motorcycle.
throat in your hand or you got thumbs in someone's eyeballs, something like that. Excused. But if you're walking down the hallway or walking to school and walk down, you're an idiot.
Shouldn't be doing, yeah.
I'm getting a kicking
Jack
sign
rules.
on the back.
You're an idiot.
I mean, I obviously didn't do homework. I went
Cut
up
off
here.
a strap off your backpack in solidarity with me.
Christmas.
Yeah, revolution. Cut off your backpack.
See, I
Backpack
wear
revolution.
both sides if the coat's slippery.
Dude,
Huh?
Like if I'm wearing my if the coat's slippery, you got to have both arms in there.
Why is your
Otherwise, it
coat
just keeps
slippery?
falling out. My parka because it's a nylon.
That's not a
says-
real coat, is it?
Who says
Oh, yes.
parka?
Parka.
Yeah.
DaVo all the time.
You are old.
All
a
the time.
slicker.
Jeez.
That's what it's called. It's
Do you
a
go home and
parka.
watch your programs too? Your stories?
My program.
I got to get home and see my
You
program.
know what I've been binging on lately?
Your stories?
Boy, we've really gone off subject,
What?
off
A little
topic.
bit.
Whatever.
Barney Miller.
That was a good one.
And I can't.
With
I have to
fish.
say there is not a better sitcom ever made.
Oh.
That and I think Night Court was.
Night Court was my favorite.
Yep.
Good one.
And I think Night Court just kind of ripped off Barney Miller because it's
Well,
kind of the same vibe.
It was funnier though.
Barney. Man, I can't think of
You'll
it.
remember the theme song. It's dom ba-da-dom, ba-da-dom, ba-da-da-da-da-dom.
Nope.
Yep. It had fish in it from Godfather. He was the Salvatore
Yeah.
from Godfather. He was fish
I
in
can
that one.
see the characters, but man, I just cannot remember
Yeah, it was an entire part of
the
my
show.
childhood.
It was all right. I liked
Y'all are
Welcome Back,
so
Kotter.
old.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Mr. Kotter.
That was all right.
Y'all are so old.
Those were high school
Whatever.
kids though, and I wasn't in high school yet, so I was kind of a little disconnected.
Yeah,
Head
well,
of the class and all that.
She
We were
said
still
for-
watching Facts of Life.
Yeah.
Most of my military career, we had to wear our backpacks with one shoulder for saluting, I think. Anyway, most of us have shoulder issues. Not sure if it's from that or from our outer elbow push.
Hey. No one ever said being cool wasn't going to injure you, okay? It's not about not getting injured. It's not about, feeling good, okay? It's
about
about not
looking
being a
good.
dork, okay?
Looking
You don't
cool is
want to
worth
be.
everything,
Yeah,
okay?
looking
Apparently.
good. That's
It
what
was
it's about.
really hard. I'm just trying to save people like I wish I was.
Like it wasn't comfortable when we had those skaty haircuts where the fucking hair hung in your eye and
No.
stuff. But
Yeah.
No,
dangerous.
It developed the tick.
yeah, you always have
dangerous.
And
that.
even after I shaved my head,
And
I still
sometimes
had
it
the
whip
tick.
around and get you in the eye, and then you're half blind for.
That's
the
why
day.
half skaters now have a lazy eye.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
They weren't
Yeah.
using
That's
it
why
for so
bald dudes
long.
go like when they're
That's
talking.
why they don't make right turns.
It's dangerous, as focused as everyone is on
See,
safety.
but
these days.
that's
Hard
a
work
big
being
problem.
cool.
Can you imagine like that emo hair that's
Oh
come back?
God.
That's just
Oh,
covers.
yeah.
Is
the
that back
cures.
now?
Yeah.
Fucking
Yes.
can't see where you're going. Like,
The-
what am I doing? Oh,
The
welcome to
pseudo
world.
Justin Bieber skater thing.
Yeah,
Boy, that's
yeah.
dumb.
Man, I used to party like a blonde.
And you know
dude.
what I think it is? I don't think anybody who has that hairstyle has ever looked at themselves from the back or side.
Well, I mean, mullets are back.
Nobody
Nobody's
does.
looking.
Yeah, well,
Mullets are-
everyone else does, but you don't. So you see
That's
yourself
what
in the
I
mirror,
mean.
and from straight ahead, yeah, it looks. It might look okay, but dude, from the side and the back, you look like a freaking freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
It
that's
looks
the goal.
weird. Looks like you run backwards, you know, and all your hair's like really dumb.
Maybe you walk down the
Doesn't work.
sidewalk and all the traffic's going by blowing your hair.
Take it from the bald guy. I know hair.
He's a hair expianado.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe what?
Whatever.
Can we go home?
Everybody should
Sooner or
be
later, it's all
tattooed.
going to fall out anyway, so who cares?
So does anybody have any piercing or tattoo related questions?
Oh.
If not, then I think we'll tie this up. It's been great doing 100 episodes.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys, for allowing us
Me
to
and Jack have been here for both of them. Jimmy for a lot of them. Brent, less.
A big
Noob.
handful.
Yeah,
Big handful now, though.
At least the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
How many
Jess has been here
seasons
for
we
the
have?
last 2 seasons. So yeah, it's been fun doing these. We're going to continue to do them. It's finding topics that we always struggle
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, write in, type us
Yeah,
in, let
give
us
us
know some
questions.
questions, and give us something to talk about.
Yeah.
Or we just ramble about stupid
Otherwise,
stuff like
we just
this.
sit here talking about fashion that we don't like
Oh,
and red boots.
you're going back to Light Bright. You keep it up.
Light bright. I don't
We-
remember those.
They were cool.
Maybe we
Yeah.
could do strip Texas Hold'em or something.
Nobody wants to see that.
don't
I
think
know.
they're
That's
gonna
why
do
they're
that.
gonna.
Moment.
Yeah.
That's why they're gonna send in ideas, so we don't have to resort.
There we go.
They're
There
gonna
we go.
start sending money to put clothes back on.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
I'm thinking we should just stream staring contests.
I think we should just do pop culture topics. I'll just throw new
We can
pop
do those.
culture
That could be fun.
topics
That
out
could be
at you
fun.
guys.
I know nothing about it.
Yes, we do.
Now,
Exactly.
current stuff
Wow.
I don't because I don't have to.
Yeah, like what do you mean
It
current?
never, you know.
Give me an example of
Yeah.
what one of
I
your.
guess if I was still trying to, well, never mind.
Yeah, give us an
Get laid.
example.
Well, here we go.
By
She-
23-year-olds.
She said,
Right.
"This was awesome. I love you guys. I still have to find your old videos about things like Ink Master. You guys want to talk about that now?"
Ink Master, yeah, we talked about that pretty.
I think we had
extensively.
one about
And
that,
We
didn't
had
we?
one about that.
I think it's she's just to find it.
It's
on our channel.
That's one of the things I don't like about one of many about YouTube is its discovery is very difficult. The one thing you can do, and it's a little bit, I think it's a little bit better organized, is our website, which is B as in boy,
You forgot our website.
BPT,
ODY.
B as in boy, P as in Paul, T as in Thomas, channel.com. And if you go to that, then we have everything separated by the show series and by season.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
It's just like one like if you hover over it, it gives you one continuous line of everything going back with the topic and
Neat.
the number on it.
Well, maybe we should ask you, like we ask people with tattoos, do you like Ink Master? And
Yeah.
then we'll give you our opinion.
I don't know. I've never really watched it that much. 'cause
I only watched
get
it when I
enough
had
of
friends
in
on it.
life.
Yeah,
You were on kind of one of those.
he was on a similar.
Yeah, but I've seen Ink Master enough to know what it is, but I haven't watched
Yeah.
like a full episode or followed anything about it or anything like that.
No.
The most I know about it comes from my clients.
Yeah,
It has done a lot to grow the industry.
Yeah.
There's no way
Yeah.
around that.
it's a great idea.
Reality shows are scripted.
Well,
Yeah.
So it's just that's the problem.
I don't watch TV about what I do for a living.
I'm not a big fan of contests of art contests. It just always seems like it's
Oxymoron, kind of.
yeah, and it's all. And who is an expert really?
Yeah.
And it's really, I guess, and that's what the show's about. It's who can do a good tattoo under those conditions.
Right,
Yeah.
You know, and I can see as a fan of tattooing it being entertaining.
right.
You know, but I guess it's not entertaining to me.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
no, I don't particularly
so-
watch shows about stuff that I do for a living. Like if I was a chef, I wouldn't go home and watch like Food Network.
Yeah,
just
I watched the first season of the Miami Ink.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first, I think, if not one of
the first shows. Yeah,
And then Hart and Huntington, whatever
Yeah, they
that
did
was,
theirs.
that one came out right around the same time. I watched the first 2 seasons of both of those shows, and since then I haven't
watched anything.
I haven't watched it.
I did the
anything.
same thing.
See, I think a show that would be interesting is having an apprentice and watching them develop.
Well, that was what was cool about Miami Ink is because
Yeah.
Chris
There was.
Barber had
That's the only way to go.
what was his name? The Japanese guy.
Yeah,
Euro.
he was awesome.
He was awesome. He's passed on.
Really?
Yeah, he passed away.
Oh man, that's too bad. But yeah, I thought that it was a decent show. They focused a lot on the tattooing, which I liked. Hart and Huntington is all about the drama,
Yeah.
and all about the dumb stuff,
Yeah, that's
in the
when they
front.
started
And
zooming in on that.
so I didn't, and they did show the tattoos at least, but I was I liked Miami Ink when at least the first season.
It always
Tattooing
amazed
the
me on
real
Hart and
world.
Huntington. They had that one dude tattooed out there that had one eye.
Yeah,
I'm like, how do you get depth perception?
he doesn't. He just feels it and knows. He's just got to know
it's
it.
weird, like you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, even how do you tattoo it? How do you see it to tattoo?
You compensate for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat. It was fascinating to me.
I had
Yeah,
a cousin that had one eye.
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
He could,
Well,
he
yeah.
could kick your butt at any sport.
Mm.
Baseball,
Yeah.
pool, volleyball, anything.
I don't play any of them sports, so you probably.
But I mean, he had one eye and he just overcame.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
body, I guess, in
Overcompensates.
in a
Adapted
while will just.
for it. Yeah, for the depth
She-
perception.
She asked, I'm curious if civilians that have watched these tattoo shows come in with preconceived ideas.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes. They don't notice that they've changed their clothes and stuff when they come in for a consult. Till the time to get the tattoo, they think they just went down the beach and had like a coney dog, for like 2 hours, and like we're gonna do my back piece now, right? Like no.
It would make really boring TV
Yeah.
if they did a back piece and it was a 12-hour show.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the they don't take into account the amount of time it takes to draw the stuff, the consultation.
If you notice on Ink Master at the end, that's usually the grand things. They do a back piece and they set them off for like a month. You know what I mean? From the end of the filming until they're doing the back piece tattoo to get the back piece done and come and show it and it's healed and all that. Like there's a big space.
There's a lot
For
of cut on the floor.
But they
of
talk.
it
Well, they
Doesn't
talk
make
about that.
the
They're like, we'll see you in
show-
like 6 weeks. From today with your back piece and blah blah blah. And
I mean, they used to do those contests at conventions, and I bet they still do. Cause,
yeah, they still do.
and I can see that to a degree.
Tattoo of the day, best color tattoo, best back
but
gray.
I mean,
and all
at the
that.
same time, it's just kind of like,
It's just fun. It's cool.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I never.
You're just mad they didn't have a best piercing of the day tattoo. Or
I don't know how you would do that.
I have no idea how you do that.
Because
All
I
of
mean,
you
there's
pierced
a
the
lot of
braids,
factors.
but this one's the only one that's straight.
Yeah, exactly. And when is it going to get to the point where it's going to be like run the gauntlet while tattooing or piercing? I mean, it's just It's like do it while eating hot peppers. Come on.
Yeah, taking the chip challenge while I tattoo.
I think a lot of the preconceived ideas is around time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people watch those shows and they say, "Oh, you have 5 hours to complete
Yeah.
this," but nobody really pays attention to that. They
If you-
see that they got this big tattoo and it looked like it was 10 minutes, and then they
Right.
were done.
But if you go back and watch a lot of the tattoos that aren't great, they came out of those shows that they have to fix and whatever or touch up later. It's because you tried to squeeze a 10-hour tattoo into a 5-hour restraint.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why I got rushed and some things got messed
Well,
up.
it's
and,
even
you
the
know.
chef shows where they have a timer. It's like, here, time up. It's always screwed
a
up.
great chef in a really good restaurant doesn't. He's not back there with a little. Go! You got 10 minutes. That's
well,
not how
some
it works.
places, depending on.
Well, yeah.
But he's got like 15 people.
McDonald's, like you drive up and when that thing's clicking, boy, you better start working. I need my burger and fries now. You know what I'm saying? But
That's been sitting there for 3 hours.
prepared.
Put it in the finisher.
I gotta pee.
Okay. Well, it was great doing this. We'll probably do this in the future, maybe every other episode, or we'll figure it out. Till next time, here's hoping all your tattoos and piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're the Des Moines, Iowa area, we always hope to see if you're tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, and we'll see you in the next
Thanks, guys.
one.
Be good.